I'm telling you, it started with a cotton bowl. You can just feel it.
Look at this, Jim. Look at this
Yeah,
guy.
get me out of here. That's who everybody wants to hear from, not me. Go for it.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it, brother.
You guys, see you guys. Good luck, Coach.
We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Jim Mooring from the Holy Grail joining us, and now we've got look at this setting. We were wondering if you were going to rub it in.
I would do nothing else.
I know. We actually had some wagering going. Would you be full beard? It looks like you're like it's a little past a 5 o'clock shadow. Might be like an 8 o'clock shadow.
Well, it gets a little bit gray like yours as I see here. So that's usually when I start to shave it. My wife kind of notices that and says, it might be time to go ahead and shave that.
How's Mexico? It looks delightful.
It is more than delightful. So I wouldn't normally do this, but since my wife made me, I guess it's a good thing.
Well, we said a couple weeks ago when Chad had mentioned that you were going on vacation, Chad was insistent that you're a Florida guy. You always go to Florida, whereas I said, no, he's going to Mexico. Get that all inclusive for the family, not have to worry about food, drink, all that. Turns out I was right.
Well, I don't know about the family. This was an actual vacation. When we go with the family, I call them adventures. They're not really vacations. Like there's no sort of relaxation of any sorts. We actually with a bunch of the staff, and so nice. I would tell you that it's an actual vacation because you can relax a little bit, and I had nothing to do with it.
So we'll talk football for a few minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. I know Amy's probably got plans for dinner. What are you guys doing for dinner tonight? Anything good?
You know what? I don't know. I've kind of overruled the last 2 nights, so I think I'm going to have to do whatever she has planned. But I think when in Rome, I think we're going to go ahead and go with the nice Mexican restaurant down here.
There you go. How has this been the last couple of weeks? I know you've been flying all over the country and going to award shows and the Senior Bowl and popping around and doing different things. But as you turn your attention to 2022, how excited are you for kind of this next chapter, this next challenge to reinvent and continue to push forward?
Actually, really excited. I think this is one of those unique years. Last year, obviously you knew you had a great team coming back, and things are always different. And not that there's an expectation that makes it a little bit different, but I just think that when you've got a younger, hungry team, with a lot of guys that know they got to prove themselves, I think it's different. I think there's a different excitement, maybe not outside of the program, but for sure from within.
How do you grow from a season where seemingly everything went right for you?
Well, I mean, again, who's defining grow? When the people are outside your program defining grow, they only look at wins and losses. And obviously that's not going to be the easiest thing in the world when you go 13-0 or 12-0 in the regular season, whatever it was. And then, so it's very difficult from the outsider looking in. But I know from us looking at it to say, hey, how do we grow? Well, we've got a lot of younger dudes. We've got some new leadership. I think that our ability to grow in that way, and every year is different, but really how that leadership kind of grows together, how the team forms together, all those unique things every year are different. I think that's where it gives us a chance to grow. And like I said, everybody outside the program doesn't get a chance to see that. Those that are at least around it enough, they see those things grow. Then the fans that they only see Saturdays, but I think that there's a great making for what it is we're doing and a great opportunity for us to continue to grow.
We got food recommendations. If you're in Cancun, you should go to Porfirio's. Great food, and the sunset is amazing.
Well, I'm not sure I'm leaving this resort, but if we do, I think that, maybe we'll
write that down.
But, I don't have a whole lot to say. Let's just say this. I don't have a whole lot to say in what exactly we're doing. I think you guys probably understand.
Yeah, we know who calls the shots. Looking back, well, let's say this. First day of spring practice, which is only like 2 weeks away now. How weird is it going to be to look out there and not have Des and Kobe and that whole crew kind of staring back at you?
I think it's going to be very different. I think what I've said is, even last year, as we started the year, I said life without Desmond Ridder in general, just because of the quarterback, life without Desmond Ridder is going to be a lot different. And sometimes even more exciting, because you get to see the development of different guys, whether it's Evan Prater or the competition between him and Ben Bryant. I mean, those are the things that as a coach you just live for. And, that kind of competition right there makes everybody grow. Maybe that they're not in the direct competition, but when we really kind of took the next step in the program, I think it was because of the competition between Desmond Ridder and Hayden Moore. And I know not everybody quite understands that, but I think that the development of who we are, what our culture is, and what the atmosphere is like was really kind of created between that competition. I know I sat them down before we got rolling into the fall camp and said, look, how you guys handle this, how you guys go about this, how you guys really deal with this competition will be a great example to our entire program. And they did an unbelievable job competing with each other and still became really good friends. And there was no selfish nature about it. And so I think we're going to have a similar idea, a similar thing with the quarterback competition. I think it's going to give us all a chance to win.
You had Coach Combs join you once again, a guy that you're familiar with, a guy that this city's familiar with, for that matter. So it's kind of a just marriage again of the city and you specifically. But what's it like having Kerry Combs back under your fold and working with him again? I know he had glowing words to say about you at his press conference.
Well, it's a lot of energy. I'll give you that. And I'm excited about it. To be honest with you, we haven't had the opportunity to do a whole lot just yet. And as we get rolling into spring ball and we start back here in 2 weeks, I think that not only myself, but I think the guys in the program in general will just see the energy that he brings. And I'm excited for that. I know for me, there's some comfort level. Obviously, the last 2 years I've lost, as I would say, a lot of the core maybe of what we started with. And I mean that from the Doug Phillipses to the Marcus Freemans, even Coach Denbrock, the guys that started with us from the very get-go. And to bring Coach Combs back, there's a guy that, I've got a history with, I've got a relationship with, just gives me some comfortability. That guy that's going to, give you the truth, keep you kind of in line in a lot of ways that, that not everybody else maybe can do. So I think for our program, for myself, it's an awesome opportunity, and I'm excited about it.
You promoted a young guy to tight end coach. A lot of people don't know a lot about Nate Letton. What can you tell us? What was it about him that kind of caught your eye, that this is a young guy that I want to get moved up to the food chain?
The way he's done everything, been here for 2 years, and his ability to do everything we've asked in every different role. You never know how things are going to work out. This is the way you're really, for me, and for our program, this is the way you'd like to be able to work them out, is to be able to promote from within. When guys have opportunities and guys move on, that you got guys within your program that you don't have to change a whole lot of things. They understand what the culture is. They understand, how we've done things and how we've grown, and they can provide something, even different from the guy that left. And to have that opportunity to do that, you got guys like Armand Benz, who obviously you guys know that, doing the same thing, that just maybe hasn't quite had that opportunity like Nate Letton did or has to fill in. But I think that's where when you really see from the inside, you see your program grow, and it's not just the players, it's also the coaches. And to be able to do that, it makes me feel like, Coach Guduli and those guys in the offense, pinpointed some really good guys and put them in position that when things like this happen, they have an opportunity to move up.
Speaking of moving up, Colin Hitchler moves up to co-defensive coordinator. Another guy that came through the ranks internally. I know he's a guy that you love having on staff. Tell people something maybe they don't know about Coach Hitch and why he's a guy that you have kind of on that fast track.
Well, he's the guy that can take the harassment more than anybody else. He actually went to school a little bit with my brother, so they're both Penn grads. So we like to kind of harass the Ivy Leaguers that, some of us public school guys maybe are a little bit smarter than they are, even though they're Ivy Leaguers. Nothing more that I love than a guy that's worked his butt off to get where he's at. And Collins had some opportunities, and he stuck with us and continued to believe in what it is that we do, and that he was going to continue to move up. And for me, for our program, for our kids, I think that another one of those examples and say, my goodness, the sky's the limit for this guy. He's believed and trusted in us, and we can do nothing but continue to move him up and give him greater opportunities.
And then Mike Brown as well, the guy you brought in kind of from the outside when you overhauled the wide receiver position. He's taken that and run with it, and now he's got passing game coordinator.
Yeah, and Mike's had a lot of opportunities in the last 2 years to move on, and whether it's the NFL stuff or college stuff. And his kind of patience. I mean, he's continued to move up, but his belief in how we do things, and that he's got an opportunity to not just be a co-coordinator or a passing game coordinator, but to truly be an offensive coordinator, gives us the opportunity to keep a great guy. And I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Gino. He was the guy that had somewhat of a little relationship with Mike and knew him 2-3 years ago when Mike had little to no experience in coaching. Gino trusted him and believed in him, and we hired him. And I'm telling you that there's nobody that's done a better job at really transitioning the room. And that wide receiver room in the last 3 years, not just the play on the football field, but the entire leadership of that room and the makeup of that room has transformed, and he's a huge part of that.
One of the hardest parts of being a head coach, you get the job. You talked about you had your group that you wanted, to get things started. And then when that starts changing, a lot of coaches don't find a comfort zone in replacing those initial guys. Have you embraced the challenge of that? I know you've leaned a lot. You said you leaned on Gino for Mike Brown. I believe was it Brian Mason that had a relationship with Darren Page. Gino, obviously, with Mike Cummings, has a relationship. Like, how much of a challenge has that been for you to keep turning the staff over as it happens? And how much have you embraced it?
Well, it's been a challenge, and you got to rely upon and trust a lot of the guys on your staff. But I know in year one, when it happened, we lost, I think, 2 or 3 coaches in year one. I think I was ready to pull my hair out. And not that I have a ton of it there anyway, but it was just like I couldn't quite understand, as bad as we were and how guys, were able to walk away or had other opportunities. So it was very challenging there for me. And then I got probably some of the best advice to look at it as a way for you to make your program better. And and I kind of stepped back after that year one and kind of recognized that, this is going to happen. Now, how do we find a way to make our program better? And so from after year one, as we move forward, every time someone has left, I've said, this is an opportunity for us to make our program better. And I think with every hire, we've found a way to make our program better. And I say that because sometimes I have people like, well, you mean to tell me you got a better defensive coordinator and Mike Trustley and having Marcus Swift? No, but you find a way. Maybe there's different things that you need now in year 4 going into year 5, and you recognize that as a coach, and you can, when you bring a new guy in, you can bring somebody that brings something different, something that your program needs, something maybe your kids need, something that I can't provide. So after that year one, where it was totally mind blowing to me, that I kind of switched gears and recognized that let's find ways to make our program better, because we know our program each and every year more and more and more. And so we've been very fortunate with a lot of help from obviously the guys on staff to be each and every hire, find a way to make our program better. And I think we did the same thing again this year.
People don't believe the stories of something like you would take a 7-figure extension and put it in your briefcase and worry about it 6 weeks later. What is it about you that there's nobody that's a brain operates like that? And then he had to come back and remind you again, hey, oh, by the way, you got that thing we need to talk about.
I don't know. I guess my brain doesn't operate in a lot of the similar ways, or maybe not. I don't know, but it's the only way I can function. And to be honest with you, I think when you're doing something with a task at hand, it's really difficult for me to turn my mind into something else. And I have a hard time doing it. And So no matter what it is, whether it's somebody calling to talk to you, whether it's, unfortunately keeping up with maybe your friends or family at times, or it's a contract extension. I just think that, trying to stay focused is something that, I pride myself in. And I try to tell the young guys, even coaches or players, I said, look, us as coaches, we can do this for a long time. These players only have a select amount of time. So whether it's 3, 4, or 5 years, COVID now, maybe some guys have 6, and I think we got an obligation to these guys that only have a short window to be able to play this great game of football, especially college football. And I want to do nothing but give them the greatest opportunity to experience what we got to experience last year. And I think the only way to do that is to stay as focused as you possibly can. And we preach to our guys about doing that all the time. And then all of a sudden they see, whether it's one of their leaders or one of their coaches or myself, doing something different. I think that, it can compromise a lot of the things that you preach every day.
Did you feel bad giving that story to Justin? And is that why you agreed to come on this show with me while you're on vacation?
Well, you two guys, the homers, I like nothing more, but, he just happened to sit down with me and I guess he said, I got to ask you this question. You know how you guys do. You say, I got to ask you this question. That's like a loaded question. Like you're saying you don't have to answer it. When I know darn well I don't have to answer any of the questions you ask. I can just move on. But he asked it, and I said, yeah, I can tell you about it. I mean, I don't know if you can talk about it. I don't really care. I think there's some people that are a little higher up that might care.
What are they going to do? Pull the extension? They're going to pull the offer?
I don't know. I guess, you just want everybody to be on the same page. And I think that, like you and Justin, you're professionals at what you do. And I think you don't want to, ruffle too many feathers. So I'm sure he wanted to make sure he went through the right channels before he let that thing go. And, I didn't bat an eye about it. I started telling him, and there's Zach looking at me like, are you sure you should be telling this? I'm like, why? It's Justin. If Chad was asking me, I'd tell him the same thing.
What's
got to you 4 days before I did, bastard.
There you go.
What's drink of choice on vacation for Coach Luke Fickell at the resort?
You know what?
Water.
To be honest with you, I think I've had a couple Coronas and maybe a margarita here or there. But actually, I just kind of sitting up here on this little perch I got outside my room. And if you can't hear all the younger crew down there hooting and hollering, playing some beach volleyball or something, that it gets loud when our crew all gets together down there.
Yeah, somebody in the chat thought maybe Brady Collins was having a cannonball contest.
Well, Coach Collins, I see a football flying down there, and this is an adult resort, so I don't think there's any kids. So usually you don't have to worry about getting hit in the head with the ball, but I think Coach Brady is down there, and I think it's getting a little out of control right now.
Stay away from that. We don't
That's
need...
why I'm up here. You guys saved me. Let me give you a little.
Great.
Let me see if I can give you a little look at where they are down there.
Gorgeous.
That looks it's just terrible. Looks just terrible.
Yeah, you can't see Coach Brady down there, but I promise you, he's down there. He's the one making the most noise.
All right.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you hopping on with us and taking a few minutes out of your vacation. You should have seen Zach's face when I told him that you were going to come on, and he's like, he's on vacation. I'm like, look, I told him he didn't have to, but he said he would do it.
I knew you thought I gave Justin something and didn't get you in there, so I would not want you to think that he got one up on you. So now you can shoot it back at him a little bit.
All right. Well, you enjoy vacation, and I will see you at the practice field in 2 weeks to get spring football started.
Well, this beautiful view right here, I get to get on a plane and head to Kansas City to watch some girls volleyball here tomorrow. So I don't know why I'm leaving early, but I am.
Family. It does crazy things for you, right?
You know that.
You're not going to let your daughter hear about it for a couple of days either, are you?
Oh, I FaceTime her every day just to make sure she realizes where I am and what I'm.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Greatly appreciate
All right,
the time, man.
All right, man. Later.
Later. There you go. That is.